My name is Paul Rosenrood, and may David Duchovny forgive me for what I must do. I hope you're doing well today, because I'd like to talk to you today about mascots. Now, one of my favorite columnists is a man by the name of David Frum, who works for a publication called The Atlantic. A few days ago, he put out a tweet asking for a word to describe a movement of people who were broadly satisfied with the status quo and skeptical of radical changes to upset the status quo. I couldn't quite come up with a word for that, but I did come up with a word for something very much in his genre, which is a word for people who are skeptical of Trump and disdainful for the apparent obstruction of justice that he represents. And that word is Mulderitz. Hear me out. It's based on Fox Mulder, who is the perfect mascot with the perfect name for Trump opposition. Now, you might reasonably ask why. Well, first, the last name Mulder is great because crossing it with moderate makes it sound vaguely similar to moderate without being too awkward. Opposition to Trump doesn't necessarily entail being a moderate. It's just that people who are opposed to him often feel like it should be a moderate position. But it's a position held by many extreme liberals and extreme conservatives. Secondly, Mulder's first name is Fox, and canonically he hates that name. He will respond to Fox, but he is aware that that's going to be associated with all sorts of kooky conspiracy theories if anybody says Fox. Next, we have Mulder's political orientation. You know, if Mulder had a political platform, it would be simply this: conspiracies are bad, and people should know about them. You know, does he have other political positions? Probably, but what he really cares about is conspiracies and how they're bad. Next, we have religion and relationships. Now, Fox Mulder is not Jewish, but in the series, one anti-Semitic character insults him based on his apparently Jewish name, and facetiously, Mulder apologizes on behalf of the international Jewish conspiracy. Now, if you were to put any fictional character in spiteful echo quotes because they had a completely reasonable position, it would be Fox Mulder. You know, Mulder's also the sort of character the alt-right would accuse of being a cuck, and with good reason. I mean, it took 9 seasons before he and Dana Scully were actually in a relationship. In fact, when they met each other, cell phones looked like this. I mean, basically, Fox Mulder is everything a Trump scandal apologist loves to hate. Next, there's Fox Mulder's job. You know, Mulder's an FBI agent, and above all else, he has a responsibility to the law. He works for the same organization that James Comey ran, who is, of course, at the center of the current scandal. Like James Comey, he was also fired, but unlike James Comey, the large government conspiracy that Mulder dealt with also framed him for murder before awkwardly giving him his job back, which hopefully will not happen to James Comey. The only problem with this analogy is that it makes Loretta Lynch the Skinner to Comey's Mulder, which is not something that has anything to do with anything, I guess. Lastly, as far as Mulder himself goes, we have his partner. You know, one of the central conflicts in Mulder's story through the X-Files is whether or not his skeptical partner, Dana Scully, believes in the conspiracy theories that Mulder's trying to prove. And Scully is sort of a stand-in in this context for the sort of person who might not believe that the scandals surrounding the Trump administration are true. But Scully is convincible. Now, given all these things, overall, Mulder is the perfect anti-corruption mascot for modern America. He is an ideal foil for everything that bugs people about Trump's scandals and everything that bugs his supporters about people who have a problem with Trump scandals. Of course, he wouldn't be a good mascot without good material, but he's got that covered. The material that can be used to make images featuring Fox Mulder is virtually unlimited. Here's a small sampling. First, we have Mulder holding a gun. Next, we have Mulder's I Want to Believe poster. Here we have a picture of Mulder and Scully browsing the Atlantic Monthly. Here's Mulder showing his badge, and here's Mulder with a gun, again. Basically, there's an enormous number of things to use. I hope you'll join me in Mulderation. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.